Hello and welcome. We're doing another one of these. It's the next volume in the Marvel Ultimate Graphic Novel Collection. This is X-Men, Uncanny X-Men Dark Phoenix. A classic storyline that everyone loves. Apart from me. And I'm probably gonna get, so many people in the comments just go, why don't you like X-Men Dark Phoenix? And I'll explain why. I'll explain why I don't like it. Because there's a lot of things in here that don't make any sense. And you're probably gonna, once I explain what they are, you're probably gonna think the same way I do about Uncanny X-Men Dark Phoenix. I like this story, I just don't hold it up with as much love as most people do. Probably because I didn't grow up with it. That's probably it. And I can see a lot of the flaws looking back. So we start off and the X-Men have just had a fight in Scotland, and they're going back to the X-Mansion. But we see Jean Grey is having time slips. She's had two before this volume starts, and she's having another one again. She's on a boat with a mysterious guy called Jason Weingard, and she's in the 1700s, and it's weird. But she snaps out of it after she hears Scott Summers' voice. Cyclops, because these two are an item. They're together. So when they get to the X-Mansion, they think there's danger. They run in. Charles Xavier is and things slowly get back to normal until the next page, where they get a report that there's two new mutants that are showing up. But the X-Men aren't the only ones that are going to try and recruit these new mutants. We also see the Hellfire Club, headed by Sebastian Shaw, who was played by Kevin Bacon in the film. In this, he's completely different. He looks nothing like Kevin Bacon. But one of these Neo-Mutants is Kitty Pryde, Shadowcat. Well, she later becomes Shadowcat. But now she's just Kitty Pryde. And she's 13, her powers are coming through, she's learning about her powers. Professor X, Colossus, Wolverine, and Storm show up, and they hit it off with Kitty Pryde. Kitty Pryde and Storm become friends. Kitty Pryde looks at Colossus, who's double her age, and she's like, he's hot. I wanna bang him. And it's you're 13 and he's 26. No, God, no, I don't want to read about it. I don't want to read this woman's, this kid's, internal monologue on how hunky Colossus is. No. So they end up getting attacked by these, armored goons who have, defenses. They have defenses against all of the X-Men's attacks. They're specified to each of them. But the X-Men there, obviously they win until they're attacked by Emma Frost, who's working for the Hellfire Club at this point in time. And they're kidnapped, along with Professor X as well. Meanwhile, the rest of the team is in New York. They're trying to track down the other Neo-Mutant. Jean Grey has another time slip, and ends up snogging Jason Weingard in real life as well. And this time slip sees Jean Grey become the Black Queen, and it's kind of a slight bit of foreshadowing. Not really. Then Dazzler shows up on stage. The X-Men are attacked by the 3 more armored goons who again are like kind of able to, who are like, they have defenses against the X-Men's powers, and there's a big fight and Dazzler ends up saving the X-Men. Then they drive off and they spot Jason Weingard outside of the car. Cyclops doesn't make any note of it. The rest of the X-Men meet up with Kitty Pryde. She tells them about what's going on. And we get a fight between Jean Grey and the White Queen, and we see that Jean Grey is getting more aggressive, more violent, more powerful, and yeah, she ends up seemingly killing the White Queen, and she creates this kind of phoenix like thing, as you can see there. She creates like this phoenix, and the entire building that they're fighting in kind of crumbles and explodes. So the team go to find Angel, the most useful X-Men. Of course he is. He's a guy whose mutant ability has wings. And in this story, they decide he's the guy that we turn to when all shit goes down. When all shit goes down, we don't go to Beast. We don't go to the super smart furry guy who's super strong and super smart and can build anything. We go to the guy with wings. We go to the guy with wings. Why? Why is he the guy that all hope rests upon? Why? So they go to find Angel, and we then see basically another like example of Jean Grey. We then see another example of her basically how powerful she's becoming, where she's able to stop Cyclops's like beams coming out of his eyes. We then have the X-Men, and they're infiltrating the Hellfire Club's base of operations because they're holding a party for a load of people. Senator Kelly's there. Senator Kelly basically is a guy who's running for president at this point in time, and he hates mutants with a fiery passion. So basically, the X-Men get beaten up and they get kidnapped. Essentially, they get beaten up, they end up tied up, all apart from Wolverine. And Jean Grey is then turned into the Black Queen, and she's working with the Hellfire Club. And she now is perpetually in this time slip. She sees everything as if it's the 1700s. She sees like the rest of the X-Men as like rebels, as like American rebels. They're fighting against like... She sees Jason Weingard as an honorable soldier when we see him as like mastermind. And she sees the rest of the X-Men as rebels. And she sees Aurora Monroe as her slave. Stuff like that. Meanwhile, Wolverine is fighting a load of guys. He's killing everyone. He's like to one guy, and I love this scene. He's like, "Do you feel lucky, punk?" And then he grabs him, and he's about to kill him. And then the guy's like, "No, don't hurt me! Don't hurt me!" And the next thing we see of Wolverine is he's like running through the like wall where the X-Men have been like taken, and he's covered in guys, and it's like the best thing, because he's just running through and he's like, "You and me got business. I'm gonna beat your ass." Meanwhile, Jean Grey, so Cyclops decides, oh, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go to the place where all psychics go, even though I'm not a psychic myself, and I'm going to try and break Jean out of this like psychic like time slip that she's in. And he has like an astral fight with Jason Weingard, where Jason Weingard ends up stabbing him through the heart in his astral form. And apparently when his astral form dies, his body like is meant to die as well. So Cyclops collapses, and then right in the first page of the next issue, he's getting up, and it's like the last thing said in the previous issue is, "Look, Cyclops is dead," and then Nightcrawler's like, "No, Cyclops is alive." It's like, so I know that like normally they had like a month wait, and it's like, but reading it now, it's just funny to have like one page be like, Cyclops is dead. You turn the page and it's, no, he's alive. Ah! It's like, so the X-Men are freed. Seeing this, what happens in the astral plane actually snaps something in Jean Grey's mind, and she's like, no, these guys are dickheads. I'm with the X-Men now. So they have a fight. The X-Men win, obviously, and Sebastian Shaw just runs out, and he's like, "Yeah, I'll get you next time, X-Men." It's like, it's like, you were a cool villain. You were a cool villain until like now, where you're just a cackling guy, like in the middle of fucking nowhere, and you're like, "Yeah, I'll make you public enemy number one." Yeah. So, just shut up, Sebastian Shaw. No one likes you. We then see that Beast is now... The reason why they didn't go to Beast earlier, even though Beast is one of the most useful members of the X-Men, and they should really go to him to solve every problem, because he's strong, he's smart, and he's furry, and I love Beast. But the reason why they don't go to Beast is because at this time he's currently a member of the Avengers. He's a member of the Avengers at this point. So he's on guard duty, and then he gets like a message from the police. It's like the X-Men are rampaging in the Hellfire Club mansion. And he's like, "X-Men? I was an X-Man. I'm gonna go help the X-Men." So he shows up right after all the action like happens, after the Hellfire Club like are beaten, and the X-Men like get on the X-Jet, and then Jean Grey's like, "No, I'm actually evil. After I just like ended the entire like Hellfire Club's careers, I'm actually like really evil, and I'm now the Dark Phoenix. Now shut the fuck up. I'll end your lives." And so she ends up crashing the plane, the X-Jet. She like explodes in this rage of fury. The X-Men all fall down, and it takes like 5 panels to like illustrate how the X-Men fall to the ground. It's like Colossus just dives, Nightcrawler like teleports down, like Wolverine's being carried by Storm. It's just hilarious to see like Wolverine's getting carried away by Storm. And he's like, thanks Aurora. It's like, I just find that funny, the image of like Wolverine getting carried away. So the X-Men fight the Dark Phoenix, but they don't want to like actually hurt her because it's Jean Grey. They're all friends with Jean Grey. Then Beast decides to show up after like the big fight, and like Jean Grey almost kills all of her friends and just flies up into space. So apparently Jean Grey is now a cosmic level threat, and the people that they decide to show that she's a cosmic level threat. Right. The Fantastic Four, I understand, because they've recently fought Galactus, so they have like someone to like draw like similarities from. I get that. Doctor Strange, he's a mystical character, he's fought a lot of mystical threats. I get that. Silver Surfer, I get that. He's a cosmic level character. I get why they show him to show, wow, That's how powerful she is? Damn. And then Spider-Man. And Spider-Man's like, that flash of light, it made my spider sense go woo, 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 woo. And I'm like, why are you showing Spider-Man to show how powerful something is? Or someone is? That just makes no sense to me. So Beast then decides to show up after all the action's gone and the X-Men are almost dead. Moira McTaggart and Professor Xavier are like, no, Jean Grey, oh fuck, she's powerful again. Oh fuck, we're all screwed. So Jean Grey goes into like another like universe, another galaxy, and eats a star. She just absorbs the power of a star, and that star is near like a peaceful civilization of like 5 million like peaceful aliens, but it's also near a starship that's meant to be like protecting these peaceful aliens. She destroys the starship and kills all 5 million people on this planet as well, all 5 million peaceful people on this planet. So then Lilandra, like leader of the Shi'ar Empire, is like shit, she's killed 5 million people. We need to stop this now, today. And after like eating a star, Jean Grey decides, no, I'm just going back to Earth. I'm going back to Earth. I flew away from Earth because I was sick of it, and they can't handle my power, but then I'll go back. And so she meets her family. She goes back to see her family, and then she goes completely insane, and she's like, look at what I do to this plant, I can do that to you in seconds, I will kill you all, leave me alone. Then she leaves, and the X-Men show up and fight her, and they do slightly better this time, but not really, because Wolverine's about to, like, kill her, and then she's like, no, spare me, and then blasts him in the face. And then she has everyone, like, locked up psychically, and Cyclops just like, Jean, stop. He's like, I love you, even though you're trying to kill me, and all my friends, and all your friends. I still love you, and I still want you to get better. Jean, stop. Jean, don't do it. No. And then Professor X, like, comes in, and he's like, no, I'm gonna kill the Phoenix. I'm gonna stop what's going on here. So he, like, fights the Phoenix, and there's, like, a massive, like, mental explosion that happens. And Jean Grey just faints, and then she's like, hi. Hi, everyone. I'm not evil anymore. So then we think everything's fine. We think, oh, they've beaten the Phoenix. They've locked that part of Jean away. Everything's fine. Then a beam of light comes from, like, out of nowhere, and the X-Men are beamed up into the Shi'ar, like, a Shi'ar arena, and they're like, and Professor X in his infinite wisdom are like, you and your alien super team versus me and my mutant super team for the Battle of Jean's honor. And the X-Men are swiftly defeated. Like they have some moments of pondering whether they should fight for Jean, because they're told, look, she killed 5 million people and she ate a star. And they're like, no, she's our friend. We should probably help her. She's our friend. And then Beast thinks of it logically, and he's like, well, even then, just an execution, that's a bit barbaric, isn't it? You know, she needs a fair trial, so I'm not going to fight for her because she's my friend. I'm going to fight for her because, you know, I'm not a heathen. I'm not a barbarian. We don't just, you know, kill people off of a whim. But if someone's eaten a star and killed 5 million people, I think you do kill them off of a whim. I think you're liable to just, you know, shoot them in the head, you know. So the X-Men fight this alien super team of the Imperial Guard, and they are all defeated. All of the X-Men just are beaten to fuck. And then Jean Grey's like, oh no, I feel it again. The Phoenix is re-emerging. The Phoenix re-emerges, and then she turns into the Dark Phoenix, just like that. And so all the X-Men get woken up after being, like, beaten to unconsciousness. And they all, like, pile onto Jean. Nothing happens. So in the final moments where, like, Jean Grey's like, these people are going to kill me, but I'm going to kill the entire universe if they don't kill me. Scott, you have to let me go. You have to let me go. And Scott's like, no, I'm not doing anything. I'm not letting you go. And Scott's like, you have to. And Jean's like, you have to. Let me go. And then she just fades away. Well, she doesn't really fade away. She more explodes into, like, a beam of light. And then Uatu the Watcher is like, yeah, Jean Grey killed herself because she had to. And, like, you know, she's human. And that's kind of the strongest trait of a human, that they all have the capacity for good and evil, but they always have the capacity to realise what evil they've done and to know when to stop. And that's the thing with Jean Grey, is she knew when to stop and when enough was enough. And she took it upon herself to end her own life before she ended any more lives, and before her life was ended by another. That's kind of powerful, but also there's a lot of stupid in this story as well. Like, why would the team go to Angel instead of going to, like, one of their more, like, powerful or one of their more helpful characters? Like, you have a guy who has wings versus Iceman? Where's Iceman in this? You know, Iceman would be really good to have, you know, as the guy to come in and save the day, because he's actually, like, useful. At least he was at this point in time. He was actually useful. You know, they could have gone to Beast at first. They could have gone to the entire Avengers and been like, look, someone's after the X-Men. I need your help. We could really use Thor at this point, you know. But no, they go to the guy with wings, and they're like, look, you're our backup. We're kind of fucked. If we're fucked, then you're fucked. So, you know. And the whole point that Beast, you know, just shows up when all shit's gone loose and the bad guy's, like, in space, that's kind of a bit stupid and a bit dumb. And I find Sebastian Shaw as a villain in this kind of one note. And the same with Jason Weingard. All that stuff with the kind of 17th century thing, I found that kind of a bit weird. And another thing with this, every time, in every issue, every member of the team has to explain their powers at least once. Every member of the team. We have, like, Nightcrawler, and he's like, I can teleport into there, and I will go invisible in the darkness. And Cyclops like, if I just open my eyes, then you'll die, because lasers come out. And it's like, it's supposed to be a serious storyline about the love that these two characters share. And then we've got Colossus in the back going, I can turn my body to steel. La ha ha. It's like, no, it's a serious storyline. Do not have that. And then you've got, like, there's so much good and so much bad. And it's just, like, I can't really take the storyline seriously, really. And it's a shame, because the last, like, moments and the last beats of the story, that final act, is really good. It's just, there's so much, like, it's so wordy. Wordy is the best kind of, like, thing that I can say. They have so much exposition, they have so much, like, explanation for things that don't really need explaining, that it kind of bogs down what could be a really amazing storyline and what is held up by so many people as an amazing storyline. But for me, it's just, there's too much, there's too much stuff that I can't really take seriously. But if you are a, big X-Men fan, this is something you need in your collection, just because it is a pivotal moment for the X-Men. However, if you're, reading comic books now, and you've never read something from this era, but you want to pick up something from this era, and you're like, X-Men Dark Phoenix, everyone says it's amazing, I'll go read that, and you might be disappointed, and you might not, you might not enjoy it as much as the people who are telling you you will enjoy it do enjoy it. That's just my 2 cents. Sound off in the comments if you agree, if you disagree, and, However, if you like this video, give it a like. If you don't like this video, give it a dislike. Yeah. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, hit that notification bell. Hit all those buttons, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.